Oh, hi. Hi, everybody. Hi, Georgia Peach. Thank you for everything you've done. Welcome, everyone. I was doing taxes because it's due on the 15th, and I'm going to pray real hard that my accountant can get it all done because I was at a trial. So I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. Hi, how is everybody? Good? Hopefully you're good. Let me turn this way. It's a little glare. Not as bad as my other glasses, though. So I'm wearing the product review glasses, the PR glasses that the company sent me, which was super nice, and I can see clearly. I should clean them, though. I can see my naked eyes. Oh, my. How is everybody post-trial? Getting ready for a new one. I'm 99.999% sure that woman, Wendy Jill Adelson, or as Bling is the New Black calls her, Wendy Jail Adelson, will be tried and convicted easily. And I pray that Jack Campbell, our state attorney here in this area, the Big Bend, feels as confident as I do about arresting that woman and trying her and convicting her. And I'm sure they'll likely, try for a change of venue and blah, blah, blah. She'll come up with some sort of illness, I'm sure. Regardless, she will be convicted. And I believe they could move it anywhere in this state and she would be convicted. So I feel pretty confident about it. And we're going to play, I have not watched it yet. We're going to play the 4-person, Lacey is her name, videos that were on TikTok. So you all lovingly sent them to me, but I have not watched them. So I'm excited to watch them while you watch them, which is why I didn't watch them. I posted earlier about something, so I'm going to ask the moderators if anything that has to do with Aaron Rickards pops up as a question, if you guys would hide it. If not, I will hide it. If the persons are persistent, then they will be blocked because I'm just not going to play ball anymore. I tried the nice route and now I'm not going to do it. So. But anyway, that's just directed to the moderators and they know what I'm talking about if no one else does. Let me say hi to everyone. So if you're new, I'm Patty Wilson and this is Patty's Playhouse. I live in Tallahassee, Florida. It's my drama backdrop. I seem to attract it no matter how neutral I try to be. I don't know. We'll see. I've been doing this for a little while, not too long, but it'll be 2 years in November and I share a lot. With that comes good and bad, but I'm good with it. And I interact with the chat and they seem to enjoy it. So if you're new, welcome. You can hit like and subscribe. I always thank people for being nice. And Georgia Peach has been a peach. She was with us the majority of the trial, but she brought some eggs for me and a few other people received a dozen eggs from her farm. And we had them this morning at my house. I fried up, well, in Pennsylvania, we call them dippy eggs, but I like a yolk. I really do like a yolk. So we had eggs and I had sausage because I'm on the shot. So I don't eat a lot of carbohydrates. And they were delicious. They really were. So thank you so much. And she was kind enough to bring me some clothes. I haven't brought them, tried them on yet, but hopefully they'll fit. And I just really appreciated her accent and the joy that she brings to really any conversation. And then Rebecca, she had my ass. If you go read the community post, you'll see she had my ass the other night. I didn't mention her because I don't want more attention drawn to the situation than it deserves. But she really did have my ass. So, and then we went. She and I went out. The trial just felt like it was weeks. And I said, I could use a drink. So we went to this place called The Lounge. in Market Square area. I had not been there. And I knew the liquor store was there, but I didn't know what the lounge was. But it was really nice. If you're in town, it's really nice. You have it's kind of like a curved bar. They had like 4 pages of bourbon. And I really just wanted a gin and tonic. It had been like 22 years since I had one. No lie. And I wanted one really bad. And the bartender was lovely. The gin and tonic was lovely. And of course, Rebecca was lovely. So we had a nice time. So I was wanting to thank her for just, saving a seat or just having a conversation at lunch. It was just nice. So I want to say hi to everyone. Hi, Ashley. Can't wait. Hopefully something is done about people coming and attacking others. There's not going to be anything done. Ashley's nicer than most people. So there's really not going to be anything done. Let's get our tabs ready, right? Oh, I just love that whole, maybe it's the INTJ in me, the analytical brain. But when she goes tab 5, she's like, well, I don't know. And it's like Wendy didn't get it. Wendy didn't understand what was happening. I might have said it. I didn't. Tab 31. Oh my God. It was just fantastic. Hey, Debbie Gibby, how are you? Hi, Bling. Hope you're feeling better. Bling has been in the weeds with illness. So we got to say a prayer for Bling. We need to say a prayer for, I don't know, she'll be on tonight. Poor thing. Indy Nana sent me an email. Her grandson is very sick. I don't know how old he is. I don't know his name, but he is very sick with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So if we could all, if you're a praying person, please take a moment and pray for Indy Nana and her family. And then if you're not a praying person, positive vibes are welcome as well. I just think, it's a kid and it's someone's grandson, someone's son, and it happens to a lot of people. Non-Hodgkin's is, in fact, my radio show now owner of the radio station, his wife had non-Hodgkin's. So she had it like 2 months after they got married, she was diagnosed. So it's something and she came out fine, but regardless, you need prayer and patience, no matter what the health issue is. So please pray for that child. Chris says, hello, everyone. Wonderful Saturday weather in Texas. It was still hot here. I'm super ready for something that isn't 93. Towards the end of the week, I think the high is 81. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I live in, like I said, Tallahassee. So it's just a bowl of sweat is really the only way to describe it. Hi. Ooh. I am from Penn State College, PA. We won our football game. We are Penn State. Thank you. You're welcome. Polite group they are. OSU is going to kill us again. Yeah, I'm sure. It's so sad too, because I can't stand Ohio State. I got to drive to Toledo and it's just going to kill me in my stomach to have to drive to Ohio. And it's worse. The baptism I'm going to for my grandchild is actually, I got to charge this phone, is actually in Chelsea, Michigan. So not only as a Penn State fan, do I have to drive to Ohio, I have to drive to Michigan. It just gets better. Hey, everyone, can't wait for Patty's show. Hope she tells more stories about the trial. Yeah, I'm going to skip the other part. Thank you. Oh, Patty got some rest. Boy, she did. She did. I slept till about 8:30 this morning, and then I had to force myself to get up because I had errands I wanted to do. I got my nails did. You can't really tell in this shade, but it's the same color, no different. And then went to the Wawa, got my orange soda, had to get gas, just like the fun things. I know it may not sound fun, but going to the Wawa, getting a soda, filling up my tank, saying hi to the people behind the counter. That's how I live. Oh, I got my car washed too. My truck. Is there already a video where Patty talks about what happened to her? No, there's no video, but there is a post. I'm sorry, there is no video. Hey, Swampy. But I did make a post because I'm not dragging myself through it. Hi, Beach Bum. How are you? Who else catches more every time you hear it? That Wendy. That Wendy is going down. You're not going to hear about it, Beach. We're not talking about it. So I'm sorry, dear. Sorry. Someone, let's win the lottery and get a Patty's Playhouse for patty cake. I did play the Powerball today. I'm not telling you where I placed my ticket because I'm going to win. And I'm going to have to pay $1.5 billion in taxes, but I'm good with that. If I won, I would start paying off mortgages. I wouldn't buy a house for someone, but I would start paying off mortgages. I'd be like, give me your mortgage and just start paying it off. And then I would buy an entire subdivision to rent out homes. I would just I would have a whole new subdivision, only rent out new homes. That way you don't have any maintenance issues. That's what I would do. There would be signs. I used to think if I won the lottery, I would have my own Diet Coke machine put in the office. I'd buy an office. We wouldn't rent anymore. And then but I don't drink Diet Coke anymore, so that's not happening. But then I thought, when you go to the movies and they have like that dispenser with a bag of cheese, the cheese isn't real, right? But you can like put it on the nachos, or I like putting it on popcorn, like dip it in the popcorn one at a time. Yeah. There would be signs, but I don't eat that cheese anymore, and I don't drink Diet Coke. So I would have to go buy a car or something like that. After I paid $1.5 billion you would just not see me ever again. I mean, I love you all, but there'd be like an AI Patty sitting here. Hello, Rayanne. How are you? Hey, Junebug. You just discovered Patty's Playhouse 3 weeks ago. I love Patty in this chat. Thank you, Desiree. That's kind of an honor, like 3 weeks. That's cool. Please like and subscribe. I thank you all. Madeline, hi, Patty. Have some trial withdrawals, to be honest. Yeah. I think we're going to get another one soon. I don't know. They work things around the calendar of holidays. So, when they were booking the trial for Donna 1 and then Donna 2, it was like, well, this Jewish holiday, well, this Christian holiday, well, this holiday. I was like, good God, when do you all work? I'm a real estate agent. We work all the time. When do you work that you can't have a trial? So it seems like the majority of the trial time is like March to September. And then it's like we're European or something. And it kind of just gets waylaid. What is that? So bizarre. Hi, Des. Oh, there's Desiree said. I thought you look in your photo. You look like Susan Hicks, who's in our chat. You look just like her. There's my Georgia Peach. Hey, Mr. C, how are you? John, thank you. John is funny. Like, there's a couple shows ago where I took calls and John called in and he has the slow Southern draw. Man can cuss like a sailor. That's all I got. So many smart people here. Desiree's going to be moving to the top. I wonder how old Donna is doing. I bet she's still in her cell, buck-ass naked. So if you are new, I swear a lot. But I bet she's buck-ass naked. What do you think? She's got to be. She's got to be naked, being watched, going, oh. Maybe we'll get to hear some jail calls. Well, that's going to be a problem because that jail, Leon County, doesn't have tablets anymore. So if you're new, let me explain. Leon County Detention Center, they don't like being called a jail, had tablets during COVID. During COVID, they would be issued a tablet, and then whatever they bought, or if they played a game or read a book or made a call, it was they had free books, but otherwise there was a charge to it. Well, what we learned with Charlie Adelson, who is Donna's second son, the murderer, I love calling him that because that's what he is, had a tablet and he happened to call his mother, which eventually incarcerated her, as we know now. So those tablets, about 3 months ago, maybe less, were removed from all inmates. Donna Sue Jacobs Adelson, had, through a fit, as she does, because she's a spoiled brat, had her tablet removed. So her attorneys, which I almost feel sorry for them at this point, had her transferred to Wakulla County so that she could be closer to them. They both live in the county, and she'd have a tablet. Now, Donna was convicted. She will not be moved back to Wakulla because there's no reason for it. And she's in Leon County detention, and there's no tablets. So she may have calls, but it'll be on one of those like a public telephone, right? There's only so many telephones in the pods, and she'll have to share. Donna Sue will have to share. Now, oops, my phone just fell over. Now she knows who I am. So now she's free to watch the news if she can, and in the let's call it the day room of the pod, where she will be sharing her life with a bunch of women who really aren't going to like her at this point because she's a bitch. So that should be interesting. So I don't know how many calls we'll get, but we will get some, just not as many as we would have gotten. I was waiting for an idiot to do this. Seriously, a man erased from the earth, and F is mad. Why a father, son, uncle is gone, and you're upset? Callie is a big say. I'm sorry, but wow. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. So sorry about that. I just don't know. I don't know. Like, are you like, I was waiting for an idiot to do this. Seriously, a man was erased from the earth. So Dan, and F is mad. Why a father, son, uncle is gone, and you're upset? I just don't know. I'm so sorry. Maybe you could explain. There's Debbie explaining it's heartless, but I don't know who she's talking about. I'm sorry. I got to meet John. So Georgia's saying she got to meet Carl Steinbeck and his brother John Steinbeck. I met a lot of other people that sit behind the Markels. Oh, Roberta was still on. I didn't know she was on. I was doing my taxes. Sorry, Roberta. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Melissa. Hey, Simon. Taxes are boring and expensive. Hi, PJ. Hey, Creative. How are you? Hey, Kaza. Kaza is in the UK, so it's like late at night for her. Green looks good on you. Thank you. This is a top. It's a J. Jill, which we don't have one. I bought it in Pennsylvania. Oh, no, I didn't buy it. My daughter bought it in Pennsylvania. Now it's loose. It is loose, everyone. Loose. But thank you, Misdemeanor. Hey, Christine. It's hard to find a green, like any green that isn't olive. It's very challenging. Hey, Wybie. Happy Sunday, everyone, from Brisbane, Australia. Well, thank you, Susan B. It's very nice. Hopefully you'll take a moment and explain what you meant, because I really don't know who F is or any of that. I'm sorry. Oh, Jazz, I need to get my taxes signed and sent off. I thought I had till October. Well, mine's a business account, so I only have till September 15th. Thank you very much, Lolly. They don't show blue on the screen. Well, that's good. Oh, bless it. Like, who wouldn't want to do this? Who doesn't want to do this? Everybody's saying I look great. My face is definitely thinner than it was about 6 months ago. Hey, Victoria. Post-trial feels awesome. Can't wait for Wendy. I'm telling you. How much did Dan's house sell for? When after he died, the probate? Let me tell you. So people ask me random questions if you're new. And so I try to answer them as best I can. People have told me it's unprofessional, but I don't really care. I just would rather know the answer and be able to help somebody than not. People always have feedback, right? People are just going to have feedback, whether it's positive or negative. So that address, let me see. I know it by heart. They paid the guy who bought it. The guy who bought it in 15 paid $281 for it. When the Markels bought it, and I mean Wendy, and Dan Markel, they paid $312, so they took a hit on it. How you feeling today? Pretty good. Pretty good. Lackadaisical. Sorry to hear about your verbal attack. Thank you very much. I'm okay. I was shook that night, but I'm fine. I just don't understand why people would attack in a courthouse, right? No. Did you read the article that Charlie gave an interview about his mother's conviction? No. Can you send it to me? Maui, if you're still on, can you send it to me? It can't come soon enough, Wendy. I know. Did you hear the jury foreman? I hope Campbell sees they all think Wendy and Harvey are complicit. I do too. Now they're going to say, yes, but you have to have the evidence. They have the evidence on Wendy. I don't think they have enough evidence on Harvey. I'm sorry. I just do not. Hey, Patty, I love to laugh. I'm just finishing up watching Charlie's testimony with Georgia earlier. I watched the latest trial and Wendy. Oh my God, cannot stop. If Wendy's name was still in the house when it sold, did she get the full proceeds? Well, she took a loss, so she didn't get the full proceeds. I'm sorry, they took a loss on the house. When you buy a house for $312, Tim Kelly, the realtor who was a witness, he was the one who was sitting in the back of the courtroom, and I would bet about 92% bet that they told him to sit in the back of the courtroom. And then Lisa Carey, who was under subpoena but did not testify during this trial for Donna, they sold it for $281. So she took a loss of like $40,000. But that's what happens when you have your ex-husband murdered in the garage. It tends to be stigma. You know what I mean? Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you so much for all you did for us during the trial. You were amazing. I hope you get to rest and recover. You killed it. I did rest. I did. Thank you. I mean, it was just so, I remember waking up, what was it? Friday morning. And I was texting Rebecca and I felt very tired. I was very tired that day, but I'm good now. Oh crap. My membership ended. Gonna fix that now. Bless your heart. Could you please explain if you're still here what you meant? They go low, we go high. Patty said that months ago. Hey, Judy. It's great to see how this jury picked up on everything. Well, I'm going to watch it in a minute. Hey, Mona. Beach lover. I checked out Lieutenant Henry. You're all right. He's handsome. I ain't going to lie. The man is a handsome man. Oh, thanks, Chrissy. It was my mother's favorite color. It's just hard to find green. Hi, B Rabbit. Green is absolutely your color. Accent your hair. I feel like my hair right now is super white and not a lot of blonde left in it. Brownish, whatever, ash. I'm concerned that Jack Campbell said something to the effect of 5 out of 6 ain't bad. He said that, Giacomo? Oh, I hope he didn't say that. Patty doesn't play like that in the play. You can't take a knife. Oh, Nancy Baruto, how are you? Nice. Another egg lady. I'm telling you, they were delish. I don't get fresh eggs very often. If you're in that area, what is it, outside Valdosta, Georgia? You can buy them from her. Patty, you have been doing life for quite a while and successfully. Thank you. Oh, Debbie, yes, Pennsylvania's your home state. You dippy up eggs. I do. I love a dippy egg. You be you, Patty. Well, thank you. Oh, well, thank you, Georgia Peach. You're very sweet. You love poached eggs. I honestly don't think I've ever had one. When Wendy gets arrested, I'm coming for that trial. Man, they're gonna have to open up another courtroom. They had to open up a second courtroom. I don't know if any of the chat people were in there, but they opened up a second courtroom. Which Judge Everett, I'm telling you what, I know you can't can you send stuff to a judge? Can you? Could I send him a red velvet cake? Could I send him a Costco gift card? Does anybody know? I mean, not that he's on the take, but glad you wore bright colors in court, because seeing you in other podcasts, the lady behind was the sister. Geez, it was Carrie. Oh, it was Carrie Zimmerman. Yeah, Carrie Zimmerman is a local businesswoman with an amazing business. I described her the other day. Her son Cole takes our real estate photos. Amazing. We missed Beach Bum. She wasn't feeling. She was under the weather, so Beach Bum didn't make it. Hey, Mona, it took me 2 years feeling depressed about my dad's passing. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hey, Mona, it's really hard when you watch people that murder other people's fathers. You're booking and boarding dogs. You're so funny. Great Dane lady, where are the community posts? Let me show you. I got to get this stuff up anyway. Wendy Adelson's trial day. Let's see. What are we going to watch? You know what else I didn't get to watch? I didn't get to watch Donna get carted out, right? Because I was in the courtroom. Oh, here it is. Hold on. Let me show you this, and then I can show you where the community page is. I'm not complaining, but when you're in the courtroom, you can only see so much. That's why I had to tell the chat, I can only see so much. And people would ask me the same question over, because they're entering the chat, leaving the chat, that kind of thing. So it was really hard for me to keep my mind straight, my little ADHD. What the hell? I don't even have anything open. Just a back. Oh, my camera is super hot. If you could still hear me, my camera is super hot. There we go. Hold on. Unplug it in. My camera's. Sorry about that. This camera is very hot. Okay. If John Steinbeck's watching, he says sometimes he watches. He needs to get me the other camera. He said, well, the camera that Carl uses doesn't get so hot. So this is pretty warm right now. Okay, so let's watch our girl, because I didn't see her getting carted out, so I want to see her. Hold on. By the way, that court reporter had fabulous hair. I had to tell her.
Leave that is 10/14, is that correct, Ms. Dugan? October 14th for case management at 2:30 p.m. That will be in the normal courtroom, 3B. Patricia, if you can make sure that the notice goes to DOC so they are aware that the PSI needs to be completed as soon as possible. Thank you. We are in recess at this time. We will reconvene on October 14th. Have a good evening, everyone.
So, question. When Charlie was arrested, they did his. I gotta fix this just a little bit. When Charlie was arrested, they. Oh, I like how dark it is in here now. They did his fingerprints right at the end, like right there at that stand, but they didn't do that for her. You miss Judge Everett already. She thinks everyone should feel bad for her. She didn't even cry. Not a damn tear. I didn't know that. I had to go back and watch it. She thought she was going to get a hug from Harvey. Someone should make a song parody of Georgia on My Mind called Georgia on Their Mind, which combines clips of Georgia cross-examining Wendy and Charlie and then Donna. She had cuffs on before the verdict. Yes, here in Florida, not just in this courtroom, but Sarah Boone was also cuffed. It's for safety, right? So that they can't throw stuff or hurt any of the sheriffs. They were ready with all those females. They were ready. She was looking back at Harvey. By that time, when it was like this, let me show you. When it was like this, we were already in the back. So we had already been back. There goes Maya. There's Jason Newland, Pat Sanford, and they're me. I'm there. But we were already kind of standing and sitting back, and then Jack Campbell came in. So that's kind of the way it worked. So I didn't know where to go. They're like, well, unless you're media, that's what the Lieutenant Henry says. He goes, unless you're media, everybody can leave. Nobody left. I mean, some people left, but I don't like it. But she didn't cry. They did her prints in another room. They had to have. But Charlie's were done right there. You could watch them doing it. No, they do not get a chance to hug their family, Marta. Sorry, no. No hugs, no physical, no nothing. They don't get a chance to hug their family. Bye-bye. I think she will be printed after the sentencing. No, they get printed right away. They get printed right away. If you go back and watch Charlie's, they print him right in there. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. I could be wrong. You never know. Doesn't matter. She's gone. She ain't coming back. Maybe correctional officers were afraid that Donna would cause more of a scene than she already caused while getting fingerprinted. Yeah, because I don't remember that happening with Charlie either. That the judge said, hey, Lieutenant Henry, can you call and make sure the screening process is in there? Since they are locked up forever, will they be able to communicate? No. The orders would say that they are not allowed to speak to the co-conspirators. No. They printed Sarah Boone right after in the courtroom. That's what I thought. Oh, y'all, she'll put on the performance on her life. So the sentencing isn't October 15th. It's just a case management hearing. When they printed Charlie, the Holly Hunter attorney hugged him. I thought, ooh. And the last hug he'll have from a woman. The juror speaking out said that Donna said, "You convicted an innocent woman." I didn't hear that. I didn't hear it. Somebody sent me, you all are so smart. Someone sent me, because I asked, where'd I put it? Lip reading. So this is what she wrote. Let me go. Let me find it. Her name is Missy. And she says, lip reading Donna. Let's see if we can bring it back. Oh, this is when she comes over and tells them not to stand. So typically when the jury comes in, we all stand. In this case, we were told not to stand. So this woman says that Donna says it wasn't supposed to end like this. What if I had testified? My husband, what's going to happen to? I think she said it wasn't supposed to blank this. She could have said I instead of it. I think they were going to go to Vietnam or suicide. They didn't want to have deaths in the condo. This is what she's telling me. I don't know what the woman's saying, but let's slow it down and see if we can read the bitch's lips. She's such a bitch. She really is. So that's Jack Campbell, Jason Newland, Georgia, of course. So this what, look, Josh Zellman, knowing this will be his last murder case unless it's pro bono, goes over and shakes Sarah Catherine. That's the back of my shaved head. There she goes. See if we can figure out what she says with just by reading her lips. Markel's walk in. Georgia was the last one to enter. I don't know where she was, but she was the last one to enter. There's Patty N. Media. That's John Steinbeck. That's a girl who flew over from England. She stayed for the whole thing. She was flew from England. That's Harry. He's on STS sometimes. This lady right here taught my kids in school at Leon. So I turned it down to 0.5 just to kind of see if we can figure out what is the state attorney's office in the courthouse? Yes, it is. Has Rashi made any comments? I don't know. I understand they also brought Donna in already handcuffed. Before this, she wasn't brought in handcuffed. That is accurate, Vivian. That is accurate. Donna was probably telling Harvey, I don't pay the final check to my defense. They got me convicted. I don't think I hate Linda Bailey as much as I hate Donna Paul. She's not exactly, hey, gossip, rumor, and innuendo. I've been watching your videos. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining us. I saw a fellow say he believed the defense complaints about comments and feedback from the observers was an attempt to get the judge to clear the gallery. Yes, we did say that. So Donna would testify. Makes sense to me. Yes. A bunch of us thought that, Indy Nana. Yeah, she didn't shake her hand. She wasn't in the room, so. They didn't stand with Sarah Boone, who's also insane, so. They didn't want to have deaths in the convo. Would it lower the resale? I'm trying to just see. So he comes out and tells us all we got to behave. Need a shirt that says bitches lips. When bling's better, she should do that. That would be priceless. Zellman's shoes are hideous. She is in such denial. I can't believe she thinks she knows she's guilty. That's why she didn't have any tears. She's just sorry she got caught. I thought it was wrong that the law clerk consoling Donna during the trial. Yeah, we all did. I'm still trying to figure out who she is. She honestly looks like Josh Zellman, but he has a young son. He doesn't have, an older daughter. I don't know if I saw him in Costco, what I would do. Anybody respond to that statement? Can we get him anything? Nearly everyone did behave. Donna and Sarah Boone going to play spades together. So a friend of mine told me at Lowell, there is an annex and a regular prison. So she said they would be allowed to be in the separate facilities at the same campus. There was a juror I see if you all remember who was sitting in the courtroom. There was a juror or in the jury pool. He wasn't an actual juror. He was like working on a loom. He was like working on a loom and knitting on a loom, a circle thing. Okay, let me watch. They're not different areas of the prison. They're separate areas. Like one is the prison and one is an annex. It's not attached, so that they would have different people there. Any idea what the court reporter to make those faces the other day? I think the testimony of the closing arguments. You know what I mean? I forgot Wendy was on a high dose of Lexapro and mixing it with alcohol in 14, illegally getting the script from Adelson Institute. Katie was addicted to Xanax script from the Adelsons too. You can send a cake. Crime and Coffee crew set Judge Everett a dozen red velvet cakes. Okay, good. Then I'll wait a little bit. I'm not going to do it right now because he'll be caked out. So people in the stupid X were getting on us about Alicia Devine, the pool reporter. Look, if you don't know who these people are in the courtroom, please don't disparage them. Please don't. She has known the Markels for a very long time. They knew she was going to sit in front of them and take their picture. They were fine with that. Please don't like go at a pool photographer when they're doing their job. She wasn't intruding in their lives. They knew. They want the media to publish and tell what's going on. That's me looking down with my chin. Good God. When you go back and look at Wendy's first trial, she does look like she's on something. Alicia does a great job with those close-ups. She does. I mean, people are like, "Oh, I can't believe I had to block people. I just couldn't take it." There's Harvey for whoever asked. That's Rebecca. Mentor lawyers behind us. This is Susan Brotman, right? She was Donna's friend. She was the one in the courtroom. She looks like she has pure grief on her face. She was the one in the courtroom. This is the gal from Court TV. That's Georgia Peach. That's Chuchar. She's with 2020. I don't know who this manly woman is. No idea. We know who that is. Oh, well, thank you, Jenny. I tried to be respectful. I mean, I was shaking. We all held hands. Myself, Rebecca, and Georgia Peach, we held hands. Wendy is for sure on something now. Yeah. You were looking like a boss in court. Thanks, Wilt. Okay, let's watch your face. Let's see, are they on it? See if we can make out what she's saying. Okay. So people are asking, why does the judge read the verdict? Well, because he doesn't want a mistrial. He doesn't want any issues after. She thought she could hug her husband, Harvey, but they would not let her. Yeah, you can't hug anybody. We should send to the courthouse. Oh, that would be nice, Raven. I mean, the court reporters, everybody, they were just amazing. Amazing. I mean, they were amazing with Charlie's trial too, but now that I know a little bit more and you're watching them, you're like, damn, it's a long day. Harvey is, oh my God. Oh my God. Did she say Wendy did this? It looks like she's saying Wendy did this. Oh my God. How do you not cry? How do you not cry? You think she said we didn't do this? I think she said Wendy did this. She said, oh my God, this is ridiculous. Hold on. Oh my God, just like the airport. Donna shouted out, it's Wendy's fault. I thought that's what she said. I hope you're right. Let's listen. Because they didn't have a mic on her. There's no mic on that table right now. Guys, come on. He's not dipping. It's a straw. No, he is dipping. He is. The guy was dipping and spitting in a tumbler. She's saying, Wendy, Wendy. That's what I think she said. Wendy did this to me. She is angry there. That is rage. We got to turn on Mr. G then. My God. She's so fake. She cries like her daughter, doesn't she? She's saying that about the banana bread. This is where she's kicking. The judge's face. She says, let's see what she says when she looks back at Harvey, and then we'll turn it off. Thank you. Oh, he's sweet 365i. Thank you. Yeah, she was stomping her feet. You can tell. And they're shackled. Like, it's hard for her to walk. She was shackled like she was in every hearing. Judge is like, he doesn't even blink. Imagine being his kid. He ain't getting away with shit. I nursed my ex until he died the same day as Dan. Today's Father's Day here in Australia. As we always do, we take a beer out to the cemetery and have a drink with my boy's dad. I hate Wendy. Yeah, she's not exactly. Man, where is the media out in Austin? I mean, maybe they don't care, but. She's saying yes. Oh, that's when the judge is talking to her. Imagine being that stupid. He's just trying to hold her down. She's crying for the camera. Well, except there weren't any tears, Susan. Harvey is on J-Date. J-Date. I mean, she has a profile on J-Date, so he just take over her profile. Maybe Mommy Dearest will tell law enforcement all about Wendy now. She's not even crying. Her defense was terrible. They got robbed. Not that I'm sad about it. Catherine says she was stomping her feet and a few times her cuffs hit the table in anger. I wonder how Wendy will act when she's convicted. Hey, Lisa Sam, how are you? She's not crying, no tears. Wendy and Donna took the same online acting class. Everett was pissed. He wasn't happy about it. I don't think the defense did poorly on purpose. She stays in jail. Even if she got a retrial, it's going to take forever. It's just more time in jail. She's not. Did she have leg irons? Yes, she did. That's why she needed help standing up. That's why she needed help standing. Let's go to Dr. G. Make sure this is on normal playback. No, it's not.
Dr. G here. I'm a clinical and forensic psychologist as well as a body language expert. And today we're going to be analyzing the behavior and body language of Donna Adelson as she's read the guilty verdict. Before we get started with this, a couple of quick things. One, I wanted to make sure you know this is not a psychological evaluation of any kind. These are just my opinions. In addition to that, I do want to remind you to like and subscribe if you want to see more content. Just like this. All right, let's go. Donna Adelson was found guilty on all counts related to the murder for hire plot that ultimately saw the death of her former son-in-law, Dan Markel. What we're going to be looking at today is her reaction to that guilty verdict, as well as her reaction to Dan Markel's parents, who provide their victim impact statements. All right, let's just jump right in.
If the jury foreperson could please rise. Has the jury reached a...
Now, as you can see right here, there's genuine fear on her face. As you can see the position of her eyebrows, she is legitimately scared right now.
Please rise. Has the jury reached a unanimous verdict?
Yeah.
If you please can hand the verdict form to the bailiff.
Now, you'll notice she's looking at the camera. I point this out because it reminds people that there is an audience, and that can affect how they behave. Sometimes they play things up. Sometimes they want to hide their behaviors. But whenever they remember there's an audience, that does impact what you're going to see. It's a very, very brief look, but she is paying attention to the cameras.
Having reviewed the verdict form, it is in its proper order. At this time, I will publish the verdict. We, the jury, find as follows as the count one of the indictment, first degree.
You see that eye closing? That's a way to block anything from coming in or going out. And so you can tell that she is already bracing herself for what's getting ready to happen.
We, the jury, find as follows as the count.
And that blink rate's picking up. Once again, that suggests a high level of stress, as most people are in these kinds of situations. But I want you to understand what you're seeing that's legitimate, because we're going to see some things that I think are performative, but we're going to get to that.
One of the indictment, first degree murder. The defendant is guilty of first degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself.
What we're seeing is interesting because it's a combination of both real emotion, of course, because she's now finding out that she's going to spend the rest of her life in prison, as well as some performance aspects to this. I'm going to show you what's real, and then I'm going to explain what I think is a performance, and then there's a lot more to view. So let's just keep going.
First degree murder. The defendant is guilty of first.
So you see the eyebrows. That is legitimately sad. Our eyebrows go up in that arc when we're sad. What we're not seeing is surprise, because oftentimes when we're surprised, our eyes open really wide. We're not seeing that. So I think that maybe she was actually expecting this, maybe hopeful that it wouldn't happen, but she seemed to be prepared for that. This verbal outburst, on the other hand, is more performative. As we've seen with her previously, she has the capacity to perform, to act out, and that's part of what this is. So this is a combination of genuine sadness and a performance that's getting added to that.
First degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself.
And there's anger in there too. Watch this.
Indictment, first degree murder. The defendant is guilty of first degree murder.
So she turns away from the judge. There's anger there. She can't look at the judge right now. She doesn't want to face the reality of it. Like I said, there's a performance aspect to this, but there are definitely real emotions there as well. There's sadness. I think there's anger. I'm going to show you more about the anger in a second.
Murder. Mrs. Adelson.
You saw her hands braced together, and it looks like she's almost hitting downward. There's genuine anger. There's rage almost, actually. So we're seeing sadness, we're seeing rage, but we're going to see more of the performance as we keep going, because it continues to sort of build on itself. So the shock of this, that's going to pass. And then most of what we're going to see later, in my opinion, is less authentic emotion.
The defendant is guilty of first degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself. Count two. We, the jury, find as follows as the count two of the indictment. Conspiracy.
So here's where more of the performance comes in. You're seeing her cry, basically, but we're seeing no tears. We've seen this from her before. And it's not that everybody has to have tons of tears coming out, but we are not going to see a single tear, at least not as far as I can count.
Conspiracy to commit first degree murder. The defendant is guilty of conspiracy to commit first degree murder. Count three.
Now, look, this is a look of anger right here. We're seeing anger in the brow. She stomps down. She's angry. So the sadness passed pretty quick. Now she's just mad about this. And so the shaking, the crying, those aspects are for everybody else to make people feel bad. Look what you've done to me. You should not have done this to me. This isn't right. So I assume this is for the jury, for those of us at home, for the judge. So there's parts of this that are a performance, but there's so much anger behind this.
of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Count 3. We, the jury.
And there she is looking at the camera again. I talk about how it's for the people at home. Watch this right here.
Murder.
She looks right at the camera.
Count 3.
Right there.
So there she is looking at the camera, remembering there's an audience. This is a performance. She wants people to see it. She wants people to feel bad. So keep in mind, this is not just purely a genuine reaction to what's going on in the courtroom right now.
We, the jury, find as follows as the count 3 of the indictment.
See, look at the camera now. She's really bunching her eyes together, really trying to show how hard she's crying, shaking more.
Solicitation to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder. And it is signed and...
So if we're trying to figure out what emotions we're really seeing, anger is really the one that comes through. It looked like, based on the way her body was moving, she's stomping her foot on the ground, and that's pure anger right there. So we're seeing a little bit of sadness in the eyebrows, and what she's trying to express is sadness, but really what comes through is that she's very mad about what just happened.
Commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder. And it is signed and dated by the foreperson. One moment. Members of the jury, the bailiff will escort you to the jury room.
And there she is sobbing with no tears. And what's the point of sobbing with no tears? What's the point of doing it as a performance? And it's to affect how other people feel. It is a way to manipulate how other people.
How does that paralegal function in society with those nails? I have long nails. They're not very long. But how do you do that with the point? How do you function? Just sidebar.
People are seeing this. So look what you've done to me. She doesn't want you to see how angry she is. She wants you to see how much you've hurt her. So that's the goal. Look how much everybody's hurt me. Look what you've done to me. That's what she wants people to feel, in my opinion.
Wendy has not moved to Austin. Wendy has a UPS box. And with UPS, you get a street address. I think Wendy is just trying to throw people off. She has not relocated to Colorado. She lives in Austin. The kids go to school in Austin. She's not in Colorado. But she does have a P.O. box, but it's with UPS. They give you a 911 address, like a normal address.
And she's baring her teeth some too, which once again, I associate with anger. Have you ever Googled your own name or email address? Before I had Aura, even stalkers, they do it 247identity.com/Dr. G and get started with
The outcome I'm sure that you desired. There will not be any further outbursts in front of the jury. If you cannot control yourself, I am going to have to determine if you'll be removed from the remainder of this process. Do you understand what I'm saying?
And there's no attempt to actually withdraw the emotion. She's not trying to withdraw the emotion because, like I said, it started off with some real emotion, with some real anger, and now I think it's just pure performance. Sure, she feels sad. Of course, there's some degree of feeling there, but there's no necessity for this type of outburst, and that's why the judge is saying, please control yourself. If this is what happened every time someone was found guilty, he would probably have a different reaction. But this is in excess of what's expected, even with getting delivered a verdict like this.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
Do you need a moment to collect yourself? Before the jurors are brought back in, we will take a brief 2-minute break. Please give her tissues if she needs them.
So the question was, what is Harvey doing? What is Harvey doing? I was sitting directly behind Harvey. Harvey's head was down slightly. Alicia Devine has a great photo where he's moved a little bit more forward. His hands were closed and clenched like this the whole time. I watched his shoulders, and Rebecca and Georgia Peach may have noticed too. His shoulders were just rising a little bit. So he had, to me, a little shallow breathing, but he stayed completely still because he knows his ass would have been carted right the hell out of there.
She doesn't need tissues because there aren't any tears. And these sort of histrionics, despite the fact the judge is telling her to rein it in, there's not really any genuine effort to stop doing this, because I think she could if she wanted to. At least that's the way it seems to me.
Beach Bum's asking, Patty, how long will Donna be in the padded room? Charlie was somewhat normal, which, you know, is a stretch for Charles Adelson. But his was only like 24, 36 hours. It will be when they deem her safe. It could be a week. It could be 2 weeks. It could be 3 days. It just is when they deem her safe.
Please bring back in the jurors so we can conclude with their portion.
As you can hear, the jurors are getting ready to come back in, and I think she wants the jury to see this. That's why she's continuing to do this. That's why she's keeping it going, to make sure the jury can see what they did to her. Look what you've done to me.
Of the trial.
You see that tension? She's just holding a facial expression, trying to appear sad and shaking over and over again. This is just not what normal emotions typically look like. They come in waves. When we're showing that sadness, it happens just when we're feeling it. It lets off a little bit, but it doesn't just stay on our face like that. And the shaking, once again, I know I've talked about this before, typically doesn't look like this. So right now she's looking over towards the jury, shaking her head, making sure that people can see how she feels. See, looking up at this guy, then looking back over at the jury. This to me appears manipulative. This doesn't appear to be an authentic, involuntary reaction to what's going on.
I just don't know how you can function with nails like that. I have to have mine square. I can't function.
Attorneys or elsewhere. It will be up to you to decide whether to preserve your privacy as a juror. With that being said,
that's my point, gossip. Like how?
Thanks on behalf of the entire Second Circuit for your service in this matter.
So we're seeing the attempt at looking sad. We're seeing flashes of anger in that. She's looking over at the jury. You're seeing anger flash across her face. Watch this.
With that being said,
Donna did not watch Charlie's verdict with Wendy. That is a fact. I know that, and I can't tell you why I know it, but I know where Wendy was at the time the verdict was written, stated. So Wendy was not in the room, and Donna says so when she's in the condo. Remember, she's whining, and it was actually evidence in this trial. She's whining at Wendy for not responding to her. Your brother's checking in on you. So she did not watch this with Wendy.
I want to extend my thanks on behalf of the entire Second Circuit for your service in this matter.
So it goes from what's an attempt to look sad, and there are flashes of real anger as she's looking at the jury. I think she's quite mad about how things played out.
You are discharged. Have a good evening.
Make sure to get some shaking in as the jury's leaving. Make sure to make people feel as bad as possible. And I think she's overplaying her hand here. I think that she believes that doing this will make people feel bad for her, but I don't think anybody bought anything that she was trying to sell during this case. And I don't think the jury is going to be affected by these type of behaviors. Something else we're seeing a lot of from her is her throwing her head up and looking at the sky. And typically when we feel defensive, it's the other way. Typically we look down more. So that's what goes back to the idea that there's so much performance here.
Go ahead.
Just do want to keep in mind, despite all of the sobbing, we still have yet to see a single tear. Not a single one.
Thank you, CJ.
Another reason, though, that she keeps performing, I want you to think about this. This is someone who wants absolute control. So much so, she had someone murdered because she wanted control. So if you think about that level of pathological control, needing that much control, then you're going to think about somebody who's going to behave in ways that might not make sense to you because she's so desperate to gain control. She's in denial of the fact that she has lost control, and if she's going to lose control over what happens in her future, she wants to try to control everybody's emotions as much as she possibly can. So this, I think, is a side effect of
Jean Louise, I cannot tell you why I know this to be true because I don't want to expose the boys, but they are living in the state of Texas and in Austin. You just have to trust me. I'm not exposing the boys about what I know, but they are in Austin, Texas.
someone who's so desperate to maintain control. Now we're going to watch Ruth Markel, Dan Markel's mother, providing her victim impact statement. We're going to see if Donna has any particular reaction to this.
Tragically short at 41 years old.
As Dan Markel's mother's talking about his life being cut tragically short, you see Donna shaking her head no, still trying to act the part that she was not involved with this, that this is all just a misjustice. So I think that's what we're going to see her reacting to.
11 years we have been forced to a life filled with unimaginable pain and heartbreak. Dan's father Phil and his sister Shelley share in this unending sorrow. Dan what? As
you see Ruth Markel talking about what Donna Adelson has done, the pain, like real pain she has caused, not what we're seeing from her, but real, genuine, undescribable pain for the Markels, for their family, for everybody around them. Watch Donna Adelson's reaction right here.
A devoted father share pain and heartbreak. Dan's father Phil and his sister Shelley.
See, she turns her head away from Ruth Markel, looks up in the sky, tries to be dramatic, but is also trying to distance herself from this, because that's what we do. We physically move away from people when we're trying to distance ourselves emotionally from them. So doing something like this is her way of trying to distance herself from her own actions.
His energy, drive, and sociability greatly enriched the FSU College of Law.
So as Ruth Markel is talking about how important Dan was to his community, how much people cared about him, you're seeing Donna Adelson shake her head. Watch this.
And sociability greatly enriched the FSU College of Law. Dan's life.
You see that head shake. Now, Donna Adelson could be doing this because she's trying to perform, because she wants people to know that
yes, at least in Florida, they always cuff you.
That she can't believe this is happening. But it's such an inappropriate thing to do. She is capable of reining this in more than she's doing right now. And it's really a disgrace to do this to Dan Markel's mother while she's talking. At the very least, she could try to contain some of this. And there appears to not only be no effort to that, she seems to be playing it up.
And was present, loving, and supportive, always putting his children's well-being first. He regularly attended the boys' daycares, reading with them. His office was filled with their drawings, and his home, his living room, filled with their toys.
So as Dan Markel's mother is talking about what he was like, the impact, the positive impact he had on the world, Donna Adelson continues to try to draw attention to herself.
Ordinary efforts underscore the brutal truth of our family's story.
Someone says, look, Jackie Fulford is done. I give her credit for this, and I'm not giving her credit for a lot, but she's at least paying attention to Ruth, and she's looking at Ruth. Josh Zellman is dreaming of a career that he used to have. Can I go back to the DUIs, please? The man never, ever, that I can see, looks over. But you'll have to continue.
Danny's murder was orchestrated by his former mother-in-law, Donna Adelson, and other co-conspirators, and is a crime of cruelty.
See, now you're seeing the big head shakes. Obviously, she's going to continue to deny this as though there's anything else that can be done or that will be done at this point. She has been found guilty. This is definitive. There's no changing this.
And other co-conspirators, and is a crime of cruelty, is a murder.
The behavior of Donna Adelson in this, in my opinion, is shameless. And that's something she seems to lack, to be able to engage in these kinds of behaviors. That shows a real profound lack of shame when it comes to a situation like this, despite the fact that she was involved, despite all that she did, still continuing to try to make people pay attention to her when Dan Markel's mother is talking is just unreal.
It's a murder of grief, a murder of selfishly prioritizing one's own desires over what is just or right, to a brutal separation between Dan and Wendy. She rented the house, and
she's even rolling her eyes right here. Watch this.
to a brutal separation between Dan and Wendy. She rented the house, and Dan came home and he found that Wendy and the boys were gone with most of their belongings. He called this devastation Pearl Harbor. Donna's eagerness.
You see her, the way she's pressing her lips together. Now, there is real stress here. I talked about control earlier. She is truly out of control here and is being forced to listen to Ruth Markel talking about what she did. And that loss of control is going to be very uncomfortable. So you are seeing some real signs of stress right here.
Pearl Harbor. Donna's eagerness for Wendy to...
And you'll see she notices the camera again after she tucks her head down.
Donna's eagerness for Wendy to divorce Dan and to relocate to South Florida led her to increasingly devise desperate schemes. Despite these efforts, the court ruled to orchestrating Dan's murder. She plotted, planned, and paid for his murder. Donna's crimes led to further devastation. Her middle son, Charlie, was convicted and sentenced to a life in prison for his role in facilitating Danny's murder.
So this was interesting. She's been reacting so strongly to so many things. But when we're talking about Charlie Adelson being in prison for the rest of his life, she's not really reacting to that. Watch this.
Sentenced to a life in prison for his role in facilitating that.
All she does is give her a little bit of side eye, but there's not really any outpouring of emotion for Charlie.
Danny's murder for hire. Can you imagine a mother involving a son to complete a murder? Donna's eldest son, Rob, an honest and decent man, is estranged from the family. And her younger child, Wendy, has decided once again to relocate to another state. Her actions and those of her co-conspirators have caused...
No reaction when she talks about Wendy either. It's so interesting to me. There's zero reaction. She's just trying to remain still when she talks about Wendy.
Wendy has decided once again...
Well, not still. She's still shaking, but she's not doing any of the histrionics. She's not looking up at the sky. She's not saying things under her breath. You're not seeing any of that. She's just trying to remain relatively still considering her baseline right now.
And to relocate to another state. Her actions and those... his last name. And after the first arrests were made, Donna didn't allow the Markel family to have access for over 6 years. It was only...
You'll notice Donna look around, see if anybody's paying attention, and when they're not, she reacts more strongly. Watch this. She looks over at her attorneys, I guess, to get some sort of reaction. When she sees they aren't looking at her, she starts verbalizing more.
First arrests were made. Donna didn't allow...
Is Josh Zellman okay? Like, look at him. He is out. He is out.
The Markel family to have access for over 6 years. It was only when there was a phenomenon...
Now we're going to skip ahead to Phil Markel. This is Dan Markel's father.
If you please could tell us your name for the record.
Good evening. My name is Phil Markel.
Josh was updating his LinkedIn profile.
I'm Danny's father. Judge Everett, I appreciate the opportunity to speak about the impact of Donna Adelson's act.
Donna continues shaking her head. She just cannot resist doing this. She can't just sit still. And it's as though there's going to be any impact on anybody. Nobody's looking at her other than us, obviously. Nobody in the courtroom's paying attention to her. The judge wants her to stop doing the histrionics. Her attorneys aren't looking at her. So this is a performance, I presume, for us, because nobody else is looking.
Yeah, Josh Zellman was disassociative. He was like, look at it. I mean, now I'm telling you, he's updating his LinkedIn. He's like,
on my family,
gotta be a better way to make a living.
And the families of so many others. While this victim impact statement is addressed to you, Your Honor, it is also intended for the Adelson family, Harvey, Charlie, Wendy, and particularly Donna. I would like them to understand.
Now, this was interesting. We've seen her shaking this whole time. It looks like as he's talking about this, as Phil Markel is bringing this up, now she's actually listening. There's something about this that's piqued her curiosity. Watch, her behavior changes very quickly.
Wendy, and particularly Donna. I would like them to understand and reflect on the deep and irreparable damage they have caused. The pain.
See, for a second there, when he said that this is for Donna, she stopped shaking. It threw her off her game a little bit because she got curious. Because when we get curious like that, that puts us in the intellectual part of our brain, takes us out of that emotional, performative part of our brain. So she wanted to listen for a second. Once she realized she actually didn't want to listen, she went back to acting how she had before. But that was really the only break we've had in this performance for the past 20 minutes or so.
To their own immediate family and so many other families and children around. Donna's selfishness, cruelty, and complete disrespect for human life.
She keeps looking to her attorneys as though they're going to be looking at her and commiserating with her, whereas her attorneys are professionals. They're just behaving as they're supposed to during this, but Donna's expecting other people to engage in these histrionics with her, and nobody else is doing it.
Cruelty, and complete disrespect for human life, along with that of her co-conspirators, have left family.
And see, she keeps talking. It's so disrespectful to the Markels. And once again, I'm fully aware she was part of a plot to murder their son. So I know that the genuine level of respect isn't there, but even just for the sake of optics, even for the judge, the fact that she will not stop interrupting with her speaking, she will not just behave, is just remarkable to me.
Anyone to commit such a cold-blooded, unprovoked act of murder.
Now this look right here, I want to show you this.
For anyone to commit such a cold-blooded.
Now that's disapproval. That look right there, there's a lip compression, but the position of it shows that she's disapproving of this statement right here.
Unprovoked.
And you're seeing, once again, there appears to be anger in the brow. This is not sadness. It's not sympathy. She feels she's disapproving and angry right here from what I can tell.
Act of murder is horrific. For Donna, someone who claims to.
They're both friends of Harvey and Donna, Melissa. One is Susan Brotman. Her and her husband, Richard Chagrin, were in the condo where Donna and Harvey were living when they were on the call with Charlie and left the call open. Now, she tried to pretend in the beginning of this whole nonsense that Susan Brotman had attorney-client privilege because she did real estate. She does real estate and estate work as a lawyer. However, because Richard Chagrin was in the room, she lost that ruling. When there's an outside party, you do not have attorney-client privilege.
Care.
All right, we'll go ahead and stop here. It's basically over at this point. Hopefully this is helping you better understand some of her behavior.
So there was no attorney-client privilege. I don't know the name of the other person, but clearly they all know each other and they're not related. So maybe Josh and Jackie are worried Harvey's going to buy himself 2 birthday presents. Hope you live to 120 years. Wasn't that epic? Donna thinks her attorneys can object. Well, they can't. There were some good questions. I'm so glad they included Rob in their speeches. Yeah, me too. Because he didn't do anything. Donna will be thinking in her cell that she should testify that she should have gotten the Vietnam visa sooner. Is there an article? Was Charlie asked about his mother? Or was that a spam article? Does anybody know? So let's watch TikTok. The latest. So where is she? That was that. Where's part 2? Oh, this is part 2. So this is part.
Donna Adelson was found guilty on all 3 charges for killing her ex-son-in-law. I'm here to say that I was on the jury and I got to be the foreperson. If you have questions, let me know because I can finally talk. Donna Adelson was found guilty on all 3 charges.
So this is part 2.
Long story short, but also probably long at the same time. Yes. Yes, I do. And do I think she is next? Do I think Harvey might be next? Absolutely, I do. Now, the state hasn't said that specifically, but there's evidence showing that they were aware of what happened. And I mean, I had to think back and take my notes because well, like write down new notes. We couldn't take the notes that we took during the trial out of that jury room. They get disposed after deliberations. Minor details. Now, if and when the state goes after Wendy, I think they will. I think it's going to be to a lesser degree. It's not going to be the same charges, only because she insulated herself from her family, from the situation very, very well. Very well. And she also played dumb very well. I feel like that's when we saw the acting that Miss Donna referred to previously. She plays that part way too good. So I do think that she will be next. I just don't know what extent. I don't know what she will be indicted on, but she was 100% involved. 100%. Because how would they know Dan's routine, right? Obviously they were given his address, whatever, but the killers, the hitmen, they would have needed some sort of insight as to where they can find him, like what he would be doing, all of that, right? It's crazy. Also, her whole testimony in her mom's trial, I don't remember. I don't remember 500 sips of water. That has guilt written all over it. Anyone who knows anything about like personal communication or body language, she's dripping in guilt. Okay. And honestly, I don't know how she sleeps at night, to be honest with you, but it's whatever. You're here nor there right now. As far as did we discuss that in the jury room during deliberations? Not necessarily. We just described we discussed things about her relating to her testimony and just like things in regard to the case because we had to stay on point. You know, that's what we were there to discuss. So not so much if we think she's next, but after we were released from our service, walking back, being escorted by the bailiffs to the where we parked and stuff. It was very interesting to hear everyone's opinions because at that point in time we were allowed to talk about it because we were dismissed from the jury. Whatever. Everyone agrees. She's probably gonna be next. We just don't know to what extent. Because yeah, like I said, she insulated herself from the situation and her family way too good. Like I said, she plays the role of dumb, and you know that term ignorance is bliss. Like she is taking that to a whole new level. Now
You have to turn up your volume because this is coming from TikTok.
The morning that Dan was shot, right? She was going to meet some friends for lunch, but she had to stop by the liquor store for like a stock at the bar party later on, whatever. Now, the liquor store she chose was completely out of the way. The route she took completely out of the way. There was that exact liquor store that was closer to her house in the complete opposite direction, but she chose to go this very long route out of the way and says she normally takes Trescott Drive. So she goes to try to turn, but there was the roadblock because at that point in time, law enforcement had arrived on scene. Dan was rushed to the hospital, yada, yada, yada. She says she encountered the roadblock, turned around real quick and just like went a different way to the liquor store. Then they also brought in another witness. The state brought in another witness, the officer who was working like at the roadblock, basically. And he states, which contradicts what Wendy said, that you could see Dan's house, the crime scene, all of the police cars and EMS, whoever else was there, right? You could see that from the house, from the roadblock. Whereas she claimed you couldn't see it. So knowing that, he also identified her car in the trial during his testimony. He saw her car, and most people, like when they get to a roadblock, they kind of turn slowly to get, like oh, what's going on, like processing it. No, she like whipped in and out, right? And now knowing that she could see the house and she didn't make any calls to the daycare, to Dan, to check on him, the kids, no calls to law enforcement to see if anything was okay. Like, come on, it just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up at all. What else do I have? And then her ex-boyfriend Jeff Lacasse testifying. Now, granted, I will say I think it's very weird that she told him about the hitman thing in confidence, and then he didn't report it. But what are you gonna do at this point? But that's one thing, towards the end of their relationship, they were discussing, like the relocation thing, because apparently that Wendy always talks about that, and like the divorce file, yada yada yada. And she said, "Well, can I tell you something in confidence?" And she said, "Yeah, my brother looked into that hitman thing because at that point in time, he was there to witness a joke from Charlie, like, oh, the TV is cheaper than a hitman or something like that." I'm getting off track. Anyway, anyway, his testimony, like basically the last time that they got together, July 11th, 2014, they met up somewhere. It was hot yoga, and basically he at that point in time knew the relationship was over, so he literally backed off as they were leaving, whatever, didn't say anything. But then Wendy turns around and asks him very weird and specific questions about his travel plans in the coming days. And with that, the first time the hitman had come to Tallahassee, they rented a car, a Nissan, that looked just like Jeff's car at that time. And at that point in time too, she was asking specific questions about his travel. So, you know, it's just a little weird. I think she's trying to set him up. And then all the details that they had, she had to have provided it. I mean, obviously. And then, let's see what else. Calling her kids by her last name before Dan was ever shot. And then legally changing their last name and to the older one's middle name, mind you. Middle name and last name 1 year after he died. And also with that, she didn't take the kids to his funeral. That's a little strange. Yeah. They both, Wendy and Harvey, both knew. They didn't say anything. That is a crime in itself. And I do think they're next. I'm just curious to see when and what you're charged with. Long story short.
Where's the one where she's outside? Is this it?
I do have to chime in on this one. I did hear that. I thought it was extremely tasteless. When we were finally able to deliberate, I brought that up, and I think about 50% of us caught that joke that she made, and 50% of us did not hear it when it happened. I thought it was extremely tasteless. When we were finally able to deliberate, I brought that up, and I think about 50% of us caught that joke that she made, and 50% of us did not hear it.
She's commenting on Jackie Fulford saying you took your shot at the court reporter. So if it's not that one, it must be this one.
Number two, as far as people's concerns.
Let's start.
Number two, as far as people's concerns as to me being on social media and posting my TikToks in the last week or two, there was no rule stating that we cannot be on social media. The rule is provided by Judge Everett in this case, okay? We cannot seek out information about this case. We cannot talk about the case with anyone. We cannot listen to others talk about the case. We cannot do anything in regard to the case during the trial. But now that I'm released as a juror, I have the freedom to say and do whatever. But also in that regard, I don't watch the news. It's depressing. I haven't watched the news in years. If anything, I'll check my weather app, my little Apple weather app once a week just to see. My For You page on my TikTok, where I am the most active, is mostly like TikTok shop videos, like members of like the moms of TikTok community, because that is the content that I typically engage and interact with. I also post that type of content sometimes, you know, just like trendy, funny, like music videos, whatever else like that. Basically like stupid humor and then mom stuff. That's what I look for on social media. So.
She literally just explained that, Rosemary. She could be on social media.
At least minimum lunch break during the days of the trial, and then after court to do as I will in regard to all of that. So no rules were broken. No rules are being broken now. I appreciate all of your guys' concern. I'm also going to prove that I was on the jury because there's some of you who just doubt it. Here is my appreciation letter from Mr. Stephen Everett, the judge on this case, thanking me for my service. Along with that, my document stating I served in the jury every single day of the trial. There's also this lovely thing called public record. Just an FYI. Now with that,
it's already posted.
Questions, okay? I am excited. I learned so much, and you know, like about the case, but also about the law, and I like that excites me. That I thought it was a cool experience, a crazy first time jury experience. So yeah. Anyway, I stated I was the foreperson, and I was, because when we got back to deliberate, once the bailiffs were out of the room and we could, you know, talk about whatever, I asked anyone. I asked everyone if anyone wanted to be the foreperson, and everyone was kind of like,
I would have no idea. I would have no idea.
Also, because I wanted to stay on point with what we were supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want someone else to have the opportunity to be foreperson and then just take us a million different directions. And I know how my brain works, so I was just, you know, like very sequential and purposeful with my questions and discussions and what we talked about, whatever. So overall, it took us about just over 3 hours to deliberate and reach our final verdict, right? But within the first hour, hour and a half, I want to say, everyone was agreeing that she is guilty. Everyone, it was unanimous within the first hour, hour and a half. But as the foreperson, you need to be looking for, the different body language, people's facial expressions, all of that, just who may be unsure of something. And we had that. We had 2 people who said they thought she was guilty. They're like, but I'm kind of confused on this one thing, this like 0.2 on count 2 of her charge, right? So with that, I was like, okay, absolutely not. We are not unanimous right now, so we're gonna go over things. And we went over things point by point, okay? We started count 1. Count 1 was the charge for first degree murder, and it had several different points that we needed to, address. We went over definitions, we went over principle and how that would apply, all of the different things. We listed out, we had a whiteboard in there, and most of us are visual people. And so we used the whiteboard to go over each point, list out everything that, like people just said that like applied and whatever. Those people who seemed a little unsure at first, they ultimately what was needed, they needed the visual. But we went over everything several times because this is a big decision and this is serious, and we all took our duty very seriously. Like, this isn't just fun and games and like, although it is a very cool experience to talk about now and it's exciting, it is someone's life, and it is the law, and we all took it very serious. So like, I need people to understand that. We went over everything, talked about everything over and over. In about the 3-hour mark, once we were like, moving and grooving, we voted several different times in several different ways. I first had everyone, we went like by each count, right? So I had everyone go one at a time in order of our juror numbers. So 1 through 12. I was like, okay, so for count 1, point, like whatever, count 1 in general, is she guilty or not guilty? And I had everyone go one at a time. We all agreed guilty. After that, we did like an all at once vote. And I was like, okay, so for count 1, like raise your hand if you think she's guilty. We all raised our hands, but it's still doing our duty as we're supposed to. Went over it again. And so, people were still talking, just like, they're sharing their thoughts with each other about the case and whatever. I was passing out 12 pieces of paper for everyone to write their final verdict down. And then I emptied like one of the little containers we had for our snacks and had everyone put it in there. And I did this because I wanted people to, and I said this too, if anyone who's on the jury with me sees this, they know that I did this. I told people, I want you to be 100,000, 50 billion% sure of your verdict. So I want people to write down what they honestly feel and think based on the evidence and the law provided. And without feeling pressured to go along with what everyone else is saying, this is how we can be sure that everyone's on the same page. So write down your final verdicts. We'll go over it. All 12 pieces of paper said guilty. And before I filled out the final verdict form that we had to fill out, we did one more vote. And I went around and everyone needed to tell me out loud and to each other that they found her guilty on all 3 accounts. And that's what we did. And then, filled out the verdict form, signed and dated it, knocked for the bailiffs to let them know that we were ready once they got set up in the courtroom. We went out there, judge asked the foreperson to stand. That was me. It didn't show the jurors, but it was me. And I signed the verdict form, which I believe will be public record. But anyway, after that, like he read the, what do you call it, published the verdict. And then, there was that outburst that we all saw. And we had to go back to the jury room. And when we came out, because the parties said that they wanted, Judge Everett went one by one, once again, with all of the jurors, and wanted to hear us say under oath that we find her guilty. And that is what happened. It was such a wild experience. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to share so much more.
So what is she saying is she can be on social media. She can't research the trial. You got to listen to the jury instructions. Continually asking, is she allowed to be on social media? Yes, she is allowed to be on social media. She would have been allowed to be on Facebook. She would have been. Now, would I have done it? Probably not, because, I have this research addiction, but she didn't. This was a girl that is sitting in the jury box. She was on the first row at the end, closer to the witness box. She was second one in. The last one in that row was the gentleman, he's African-American, who had the 2 murders in his family. So she was next to him. I could not see her all the time because the podium that Georgia was speaking from was there. So I had a diagonal. One of the YouTubers came up to me and he's like, Patty, she is writing voraciously. She is writing and writing and writing. And I was like, she is? Because I couldn't really tell. And then she was, and then she wasn't, and then she was. So clearly she took notes, and clearly she had some sort of true understanding of the murder and the situation, because it's a lot of information and a lot of data. So once they are done their jury, they take all those notes. One lady went through 3 notebooks. She was the first one closest to the gallery in the back, and 3 notebooks. So they took notes. These people were not idiots, and they paid complete attention. They were stone-faced. There was no emotion that you could see, except for the one guy who I told you was the civil engineer. He took a lot of notes, and he grimaced with the autopsy photos, those kind of things. And he was rocking back and forth in his chair, which means the man had made the decision. Then there's one more. Hold on. I cannot slow it down. I cannot do anything. So either, I can put the link in a community post, or you guys can share the link. Many of you have already watched it, and you can listen to it on your own.
Beings that you have, especially to those strangers on the internet. Beings that you have, especially to those strangers on the internet. Beings that you have, especially to those strangers.
I'm sure you will bring you all the attention you've been working for. People are just so nasty for no reason. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. So that she's answering her questions, so I'm not going to do it anymore. So Harvey needs a nurse with a purse. Hope Harvey doesn't resort to what Bill Belichick is doing with Jordan. AA Legal Focus says, I watched the same video and she was able to slow it down. Okay, well, I'm not spending the time to do that. I apologize in advance, but time is of the essence, people. It's 8:30 at night. This will get back to Donna, and she will say this is illegal. She said it in the handbook. Thank you, my father's alibi. Thank you very much, dear. Thank you very much. Her algorithm is not filled with true crime like ours. I know. We can't take me. I'm self-aware enough to know that if I'm on a jury, you better stay off social media, Patty, because there's just no point. Donna would not be amused by the TikTok, but I find it interesting. I'm so grateful for the insights of the juror. Feels so good to know that someone who doesn't know this case the way we do is able to so clearly see through the Adelson's bullshit. The blinking and the water sipping, I was like, as soon as she said that, because I've not watched it. I've only watched it with you all. She did show her summons. Let's see. And I recognize her. I know she was a juror. The judge is instructed to do anything to listen about the trial, nothing about not being on social media. You don't have TikTok. I'm sorry. You probably don't want it then. Donna mumbled no justice. Well, I think I beg to differ. She looks like she's 12. She's not. I think she's a mom. I think she has kids, at least one. She's very thin. She's very pretty. Go girl. I mean, I'm proud of her. She is an adult. Although I have no idea what goes into being a good realtor, I defer to you. Well, thanks trying to find a cure. Try to be a good realtor. Has Wendy been arrested yet? Did Patty get Pat Sanford's number? No, but I did talk to him. I did have a nice conversation with him. He was very nice. This juror writes a book, I'll buy it. I don't think she's going to write a book. My guess is if the court had an issue, they could easily determine what juror did on social media. I'm sure this gal did nothing wrong. I'm a little upset people are being weird about this. Honestly, this is disappointing. Any negative reactions to her, why she's no longer speaking, why in the world would anyone be mad at her? Because people, let me explain something to you, Jay Cash. It doesn't matter what you do. I am a great example of it. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you walk down the hallway and you say, hey, how are you doing? And they say, I'm well. And you say, great. Doesn't mean somebody won't get in your face later. It does not matter. It does not matter. It doesn't matter if people are going to ask and ask and ask. She shouldn't have been on social media. That is your opinion. And that's the beauty of this chat. You're entitled to your opinion in this chat. Doesn't mean it's correct. Doesn't mean it's incorrect. It's just your opinion. The judge did not ever say in any of his instructions, do not be on social media. Do not read the newspaper. Do not watch TV. She was not sequestered. Now, I know that my own impulses would say, Patty, don't be on social media. It's probably not best. She didn't feel that way. She didn't watch the news to begin with. So, I mean, you got to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. We are not the investigators, okay? We're just not of anything. I could never be a content creator. People are so vicious. I have anxiety sometimes just reading my own Facebook page. It is hard sometimes. So when I was doing this, like Facebook's harder. Like telling people on Facebook for me is harder because the majority of my friends on Facebook, not all of them, because it's like 5,200, let's face it, I don't know who they are my friends, right? They're my friends. So I don't, you have to post and I don't go back and look at my numbers. So even with Patty's Playhouse, the radio show, I'll post a live and I never go back and look at the numbers. How many watch? I do not go look on Facebook. Here I would, because I don't know as many. I mean, YouTube's just more open. So she is on our Facebook group, Living Tallahassee. There are several jurors that are in the group, but I'm not approaching them. That's not what that group is for. I don't feel like that's fair. I'm not outing their name, but it is already published and it is public record. I hope Donna saw how many law officers are on the side of the Markels. I don't think she did. Although it's hard to be a content creator, I'm very grateful to anyone who sticks his or her neck out to do it because I learn a lot from them online before canceling cable. Patty, have you chimed in on when Wendy will be arrested? I have no idea when Wendy will be arrested. No one is telling me when Wendy will be arrested. I mean, I know Mentor Lawyer asked when things would be unsealed, and Georgia said she couldn't even talk about it because they're sealed. She's a young mom of 2 trying to make some money for her family. She sells things in the TikTok shop. Good for her. Patty's in the trial everywhere you look. So let me go to that because I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, someone sent me the, what is it called? Loophole Lawyer. But I only saw the image of Harvey laughing. So I haven't seen myself.
Does a typical Jewish
Oh my God. Is this? I am not affiliated with Loophole. I can hear it already.
Does a typical Jewish grandmother suggest dressing her grandchildren up in Nazi uniforms?
Not to my knowledge.
Lease my babies.
Donna was the ultimate Jewish mother, unlike my wife.
Screwing him financially is what will aggravate him.
Is she aggressive towards others?
This is what this fucker is sending your sister on a regular basis.
Never. Have you ever heard her threaten anyone?
Having her Jewish grandsons baptized.
Never.
Au contraire.
Coming through that door is Donna Adelson's geriatric Jewish Defense League that's going to save the boss's life. Let's watch.
That's Richard Chagrin.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you will give today will be the truth?
I do.
You may take your seat.
My name is Richard Chagrin.
Zoran Gutterson.
How do you know my client, Donna Adelson?
I met them 38 years ago. They're best friends. The wife was the president and CEO of a nonprofit. I was chairman of the board.
I know her through her husband, Harvey Adelson, whom I went to high school with, Stuyvesant High School.
Stuyvesant High School is the #1 public high school in the country. The only way you can get in is if you pass one entrance exam. At that time, it was 75% Jewish, and now it's 75% Asian.
At some point, did you grow apart?
Au contraire. This is funny. I was in Florida for Christmas. We get to Florida, Miami. Everything is closed. We're hungry. What do you eat? Chinese food.
Obviously, those of you who have never seen a Jewish person before may not know, but on Christmas and Christmas Eve, all they eat is Chinese food because it's the only place that's open.
So we order Chinese food. I bite into the spare rib. I crack my front tooth. I call a friend of mine who's a dentist in New York.
And right on cue, we see our favorite Asian attorney, Judy, the YouTube Asian lawyer.
Also went to high school with us. And I said to him, who do we know in Florida? I need a dentist. Harvey, I knew from high school. I called him on Christmas. He saw me the next day and we reconnected. He and Donna and Annie and I would travel together and we really bonded. The chemistry was there.
Can you describe their relationship, Donna and Harvey?
Once again,
can you describe their relationship, Donna?
A very
It looks like Judy's sitting in Harvey's lap.
loving couple.
Were you aware that their son, Charlie, was arrested in this investigation?
Yes.
Donna and Harvey's state of mind, how they were feeling about things.
To put it mildly, extremely upset, off the wall, like most caring parents would be.
Your life partner is Annie Cunningham?
Anne Elizabeth Cunningham. We met when my life partner.
What is with this life partner bullshit? Those of us that are married know the only real benefit is you could say that your wife is your wife and you don't have to use some lame phrase like life partner. If that's your little floozy on the side, just say it.
To Florida, Chinese restaurant. And he bit into a spare rib and cracked his tooth.
Oh. With respect to Mrs. Adelson and your observations of her over these, 15 years, have you found her to be a hateful person?
This is what this fucker is sending your sister on a regular basis.
Never.
Is she aggressive towards others?
In this email, she suggests that dressing her Jewish grandchildren up in Hitler Youth uniforms would be acceptable.
Never.
Have you ever heard her threaten anyone?
Having her Jewish grandsons baptized.
Never.
Have you ever seen her harm anyone?
Never.
Have you ever heard her threaten to have somebody harmed?
No.
Obviously, we all know the boss is smart enough not to let this Yenta in on her plan to have her son-in-law murdered.
Screwing him financially is what will aggravate him.
At any time during that period, did she ever say she wanted to have Danny Markel killed?
Never.
At the time that you spoke to Mrs. Adelson, was it the day that Danny was murdered?
When he was shot, yes.
When she called you, did she appear to be upset?
Very.
Very smart by the boss, setting up her alibi. And we know that she did plenty of research on how to act fake and how to act sad when you're in public.
She crying?
Yes.
Did she seem to be at a point in time where she had just learned what had occurred.
Yes.
But you understood that you may be needed to come down.
My
to Florida to do
services
some
may be
help,
needed as a friend to assist.
and you were happy to do that, right?
That's what friends are for. That's what friends are for.
When I first met my wife 36 years ago, we formed a gourmet club, and they were part of the gourmet club. And we met probably every 2 to 3 months. And then as the years progressed, we became friendlier and went on a number of vacations with them.
Those of you that are not rich, wealthy Jews in South Florida may not understand what that is. Basically, they form a club and eat at each other's house with someone else doing all the work, all the cooking, and all the preparation.
And you say gourmet club.
Gourmet dinners at people's houses.
Were you somewhat savvier than they when it comes to booking travel?
Oh yeah, I've been to 75 countries around the world.
Bragger.
When you sat down to assist with the reservations, what did you discover?
The ironic thing was that the round trip was a fraction more than one way. And I suggested, since you don't know when you're coming back until sometime in January, book a one-way. I said, I'd be willing to bet it's cheaper to fly from Vietnam to the United States than it is from the United States to Vietnam.
This is critical testimony because he's saying that he was the one that told Donna Sue and Harvey to book a one-way flight to Vietnam.
To your knowledge, had the Adelsons been to Vietnam in the past?
Yes.
And they found it to be relaxing?
To my knowledge, I was there. I thought it was a great country, great people, great food.
Can you describe the type of mother and grandmother that you observed Donna to be?
This is what this fucker is sending your sister on a regular basis.
Donna was the ultimate Jewish mother, unlike my wife.
Despite putting down his wife, a Jewish mother is someone who's very neurotic, very controlling, and knows every single thing their kids do and is involved in every single aspect of their personal lives.
That was very involved in their children and grandchildren's lives.
The defendant sends Wendy this email, and it contains every date that Dan Markel has been out of town traveling for work since the birth of their first child. That's 4 years. She is able to go back and send to Wendy, he was out of town this date to this date, this date to this date.
Old George is not familiar with the customs of a Jewish mother. I can tell you this, Donna Sue documenting every single time Dan traveled, not from when he was divorced, but from the beginning, is something a typical Jewish mother will do.
I think Donna maybe was a little more involved in her grandchildren because of the situation of grandsons losing their father, Wendy working, and also they live close by, Donna and Harvey in South Beach.
You cannot take credit for being a good grandmother to the grandchildren when you're the one who caused the entire problem by killing their father.
Am I hearing you correctly? You would describe Donna as a typical Jewish grandmother?
And the evidence has shown that this nice, normal, sweet little grandma certainly was angry.
More than typical.
And a typical Jewish mother?
Yes.
At the time that you were assisting them with the travel, had they decided when they were coming back from Vietnam?
They were undecided, other than the fact that they were going to, whether it was prior to the bar mitzvah or just before the bar mitzvah, they didn't know how long they were going to be gone.
But they were coming back for the bar mitzvah?
Oh, definitely. They wouldn't miss it for the world.
They would move heaven and earth to be there for that traditional occasion.
Under normal circumstances, they were going to make every effort to return to attend that bar mitzvah, right?
Yes.
Obviously, normal circumstances would not include a warrant being issued for their arrest for first-degree murder. It would be an abnormal circumstance.
Old Georgia stunned this old Jew and then dropped the mic.
I'm not aware of that.
Might cause them to not come back.
Might. You'd have to think twice.
Sure. And in that deposition, weren't you asked, so did you make any of the decisions when to travel or how to travel, or were you just the conduit to the technology? And your answer was the conduit for the technology.
This is very critical. George is referring to the deposition of this old Jew for which she was asking him questions. If you hear that question, it's a compound question. It contains multiple questions within one question, and it's not proper. She failed to properly ascertain whether this old Jew was the one that recommended Vietnam, and she will get better from this because she has to make sure she covers all of her bases in a deposition.
Yes.
But today you're saying you're the one that suggested that they fly one way.
To me, that's part of being the conduit, just suggesting.
You said that Donna Adelson is a typical Jewish grandmother. Does a typical Jewish grandmother suggest dressing her grandchildren up in Nazi uniforms?
Not to my knowledge.
Despite the deposition error, old Georgia comes back with a knockout punch.
No further questions.
And when you were deposed on August 29th of 2024, did Ms. Kappelman ask you if you made any suggestions about a one-way ticket or a round-trip ticket?
I don't remember.
Did Ms. Kappelman ask if you made any decisions?
No.
He was showing the transcript, and it was true. Georgia never followed up on that compound question that she asked. It happens, and sometimes you can get away with that type of situation. However, Georgia was able to come back strong with her old knockout punch.
Well, she asked if you made decisions, but you did not make decisions, did you?
No.
You made suggestions.
Yes.
This old broad testified that she spoke with Donna Sue in 2014 using WhatsApp. However, it was later determined that WhatsApp didn't even have voice communication until 2015, so they had to stop her as she was boarding her flight and bring her back for a little questioning.
I have a question about your use of cell phone service, and we touched briefly on things like WhatsApp, and what was the other one you said you use?
Viber.
Viber? What the hell is that?
Okay, Viber. When you communicated with Mrs. Adelson,
that doesn't sound like a phone app.
Did you routinely use one of those apps?
Quite often, yes.
Which app did you use mostly?
WhatsApp or Viber.
As opposed to picking up and using the cell phone service, you would use those instead?
Yes, Viber.
She later clarified that because cell phones today don't necessarily have the vibrating feature, she would use Viber, and there was no real issue with it.
Viber.
And look what we have here, exclusive footage of Harvey and the rest of the Geriatric Jewish Defense League eating lunch. Let's watch. There's our man, the big faker that rolled into court with his walker. He doesn't seem to have any trouble shoveling in that matzo ball soup.
I've been gone a week. I miss my babies.
Old Harvey looks refreshed and happy dining with the Geriatric Jewish Defense League. Let's hope old Harvey will have an opportunity to once again dine with the boss after she's found not guilty.
We won. I can't believe it. We actually won.
And despite that smile, old Harvey knows that one rule that I tell you about each and every time we meet. You don't fuck with Donna Sue Adelson.
Should get up and dance.
I'd love to, but my feet hurt. Oh.
I heard him say he was going to do it.
We won. I can't believe it. We actually won.
This is Charlie Boy's best Chinese food in town. I could eat this every day.
Absolutely hilarious.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the episode.
Does a typical Jewish
Look out,
grandmother...
Bling. I'm trying to get back. Bling loves the lawyer, you know. Okay, so that was that one. It must be this one.
The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself.
Donna Sue turning quickly to embrace Harvey for one last time, but that hottie, Sheriff Terry, was there to stop her.
Louis Rivera, his children have no father. Catherine Magbanawa and Sigfredo Garcia, their children have no parents. Charlie Adelson, his son, has no father. Rob Adelson and his wife and their 2 children have lost their uncle and grandparents.
The defendant is guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder.
Can you imagine a mother involving a son to complete a murder? Donna's eldest son, Rob, an honest and decent man, is estranged from the family.
One moment. Members of the jury, the bailiff will escort you to the jury room.
The verdict is in, and all the usual players in our community are lining up in the courtroom to see if Donna Sue Adelson is going to be convicted. Let's watch. Take a look at this chooch. You're not allowed to bring in any type of food or beverages in the courtroom. Obviously, this guy has no idea what the rules are in the court. If anybody knows who this person is, let's report him. Thanks to our beat reporter, Patty, she caught old Harvey chowing down on some pizza. But guess what? He didn't even buy it, nor did anyone invite him to actually eat it. If you look up to the right there, you'll see the mental lawyer. He's the one who paid for it. And obviously, he's giving him the old death stare because old Harvey's chowing down on his food. And there's Harvey entering the court. Not only will Donna Sue's fate be decided, but his will as well. He will walk out of here either a single free man or he'll have to remain married to old Donna Sue. Let's watch. And look who's strutting in for the big decision. Judy, the Asian YouTube lawyer's favorite FBI agent. She calls him Sexy Sanford, and he's right there. Very classy move by the attorney, shaking hands before the verdict is read.
Has the jury reached a unanimous verdict?
Yeah.
If you please can hand the verdict form to the bailiff.
Ooh, you can feel the tension.
Having reviewed the verdict form, it is in its proper order. At this time, I will publish the verdict. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1 of the indictment, first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself.
Wow, and there you have it. After just 3 hours, the jury convicts the boss, Donna Sue Adelson, of the first count.
Count 2. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 2 of the indictment. Conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Count 3. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 3 of the indictment. Solicitation to commit first-degree murder.
Not a wet eye in the house.
The defendant is guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder. And it is signed and dated by the foreperson. One moment. Members of the jury, the bailiff will escort you to the jury room.
Old Judge Everett ain't having it.
I thought we were all in trouble at that point.
I'm free.
Mrs. Adelson, while this was not the outcome I'm sure that you desired, there will not be any further outbursts in front of the jury. If you cannot control yourself, I am going to have to determine if you'll be removed from the remainder of this process. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Do you need a moment to collect yourself? Before the jurors are brought back in, we will take a brief 2-minute break. Please give her tissues if she needs them.
tissues for what?
Jurors are brought back into the room. Does the defense wish to have the jurors polled before they are discharged?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well.
Well, at least Harvey's taking it well.
Please bring back in the jurors so we can conclude with their portion of the trial. As to the jury's verdict, is the defense asking for a pre-sentence report on counts 2 and 3?
Pre-sentence reports will have the defendant's conduct and previous history analyzed by the court. It will enable the defense to potentially get a reduction in the sentence, although the first count, the murder charge, carries a mandatory life sentence, so it really doesn't matter.
As to count 1, the penalty is statutory. There is no modification for it.
Yes, Your Honor.
Pre-sentence investigation and report is ordered by the court as to counts 2 and 3.
Donna's turning and looking to her trusted supply, Harvey, who can't save her now.
My name is Ruth Markel. I am the mother of the late Dan Markel.
Victims of a crime are generally allowed to give an impact statement if a person is convicted. And here we have Dan Markel's mother and dad going to do just that.
This was a particularly senseless crime, and the murder was particularly insensible. It was not revenge. That is why I wrote the book, The Unveiling, a mother's reflection on murder, grief, and trial life.
Smart move by Mrs. Markel, slipping in a plug for a book while the whole world is watching. Nice job.
All the community of journalists, TV programs, podcasters, and the allies who have put their hearts in keeping Danny's story alive, we are full of thanks.
What I love about the Markels is they embrace podcasters. They embrace the YouTube community because we kept this case moving.
If Tallahassee is known for football, Tallahassee should be known for the prosecution and for law enforcement.
She's 100% right. In that uppity educational state of Massachusetts, they stumbled and bumbled over the investigation of John O'Keefe, which was very simple. But down in old Florida, where they claim it's a bunch of hillbillies and rednecks, they took 11 years to finally get every single person involved in this case. And perhaps there's a few more coming.
They have done an outstanding job. Danny's murder was orchestrated by his former mother-in-law, Donna Adelson, and other co-conspirators, and is a crime of cruelty. It is a murder of grief, a murder of selfishly prioritizing one's own desires over what is just or right. And at its core, this was a murder of convenience, so that one grandmother could live closer to her grandchildren. She killed their father and ripped the children from the other grandparents' lives.
In the mind of a narcissist, they never do anything wrong. They legitimately believe that any actions that were negative to them were not caused by them.
Donna Adelson's crimes against Dan began long before his murder. She belittled Dan in front of his children. She spread lies about him and contributed to a brutal separation between Dan and Wendy. She rented the house, and Dan came home and he found that Wendy and the boys were gone with most of their belongings.
Great point by Miss Markel. In a marriage with children, when there's a dispute, it's imperative that the parents push their kid to work it out, not do the exact opposite. But always remember that we have a narcissistic mother, and she didn't care about the actual family. She only cared about seeking control.
He called this devastation Pearl Harbor.
Those sound effects were put in there by my rascal of a producer, and I'll have a word with them because it's not funny to simply play an Asian song every time they mention anything to do with an Asian country.
Donna's eagerness for Wendy to divorce Dan and to relocate to South Florida led her to increasingly devise desperate schemes. Despite these efforts, the court ruled that Wendy could not move the boys away from their loving father. Failing to achieve her goal through legal means, Donna finally resorted to orchestrating Dan's murder. She plotted, planned, and paid for his murder. Donna's crimes led to further devastation. Her middle son, Charlie, was convicted and sentenced to a life in prison.
You are sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of release or parole.
Oh.
As to count 2, you are going to be sentenced consecutively to 30 years in the Department of Corrections for conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. As to count 3, you are going to be sentenced to 30 years in the Department of Corrections consecutively for solicitation to commit first-degree murder.
Expect Donna Sue to receive a very similar sentence.
For his role in facilitating Danny's murder for hire. Can you imagine a mother involving a son to complete a murder? Donna's eldest son, Rob, an honest and decent man, is estranged from the family. And her younger child, Wendy, has decided once again to relocate to another state. She blames external forces for her family's curse. They're outside of her, but she is the curse. Yet Dan's murder was not enough for Donna. His death was not enough. Danny had to be fully erased from his beloved sons. The boy's last name was ever changed, an extraordinary decision to excise the Markel name from Phil's only grandsons who shared his last name. And after the first arrests were made, Donna didn't allow the Markel family to have access for over 6 years. We only wait for the day that Benjamin and Lincoln will visit their father and his grave in Toronto.
Phil Markel, I'm Danny's father. Judge Everett, I appreciate the opportunity to speak about the impact of Donna Adelson's actions on my families and the families of so many others. While this victim impact statement is addressed to you, Your Honor, it is also intended for the Adelson family. Donna's selfishness, cruelty, and complete disrespect for human life, along with that of her co-conspirators, have left families forever broken. Louis Rivera, his children have no father. Catherine Magbanoa and Sigfredo Garcia, their children have no parents. Charlie Adelson, his son, Roman, has no father. Rob Adelson and his wife and their 2 children have lost their uncle and grandparents. For Donna, someone who claims to care so much about Ben and Lincoln, her sun shines. Her actions are beyond comprehension. She has harmed forever the people she claims to have loved. In the Jewish custom, we have an expression to always wish others to live to 120 years of age.
That is true. Those of you that have never met a Jew before may not know that they wish each other to live 120 years. And that's based upon the belief that Moses lived 120 years.
For Donna, I wish her to live to 120, alone in her jail cell. I wish that every day of her remaining days, she thinks about the harm she has caused to so many, especially those 2 boys she claims to have loved so much.
Beautiful use of passive-aggressive behavior by Miss Markel. Love it.
I ask the court sentence Donna Adelson to the maximum possible sentence.
I respectfully ask the court to impose the maximum sentence on Donna Adelson. Her lack of cooperation and remorse throughout the case demands justice, the justice that Dan's life and memory fully deserve.
We are in recess at this time. We will reconvene on October 14th. Have a good evening, everyone.
Donna Sue turning quickly to embrace Harvey for one last time, but that hottie, Sheriff Terry, was there to stop her.
Oh, God!
Well, if you have to be escorted out of court to serve a life sentence, it might as well be with that hottie, Sheriff Terry. Straight out the door, and she gone. The Markels beautifully laid out to the court how much destruction Donna Sue caused to all those various people and their children simply because they did not follow that one rule that I tell you about every single time we meet. You don't fuck with Donna Sue Adelson. I'm free.
Woo!
like it? Like it?
This trial provided quite a bit of drama.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Dave,
Megyn
I mean, I
Kelly,
know
you
it's
don't even know
personal
what
for
you're
you because
talking about. I like Megyn Kelly, but she literally does not know anything about this case. There were several things she got wrong. So that was funny. My neck is not that large. Okay. I just want to say that out loud. Like, it's just not that large. So someone asked about the lease. Where is it? They asked about the lease, and I happen to have the listing of the lease. That bailiff is no nonsense. Her square jaw was built to be a correction officer or deputy. She requested not be in court during the victim impact statement. Well, too damn bad. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. She is the curse. That was beautifully written. I loved that Ruth. I'm going to PDF this thing and try to redact some of the listings so that I can share it with you. Open with Adobe. I got to redact some of this. Just a second. Because you know, freaking which call it gets all up in a roar about stuff. I got to take out phone numbers and stuff. Sorry. I think that's it. Okay. I could show you the lease that she rented out. We didn't even get to what's her face's it's not moving over. I'm going to move over to the other screen. Trying to get us to open on this screen. See if I do it this way. Don't pay attention to my desktop. Okay. I just have to do it a different way. Let me know if you can see it. Can you see it? There we go. Now it'll open up over here. Okay. So let me expand it. This is the listing where Wendy rented. The dates on it. She rented 8/5/12. And of course left him 14. So the lease date started here, but of course, that's around the time that she laid the Pearl Harbor, right? We know that. But she stayed there until July. So they either broke the lease or they broke the lease. Or they could have taken, what we don't know, they could have renewed for like a 6-month lease. Anyway, so the dates, the original move-in date would have been around 9/1 and 2012. This is what it looked like. It's just a typical house in Florida. They paid Donna paid $18.50. The lease was in Donna's name. It wasn't in Wendy's name. If you go September 1, and then the Pearl Harbor was in September, and he was murdered July 18th. They moved out around that time. So they either paid the 3 months of that lease till they got the rest of it out, or they broke the lease and just paid probably had a 2-month penalty anyway. So, but anyway, that's what happened. That's the lease. I do believe the money is dwindling down. That's just my personal opinion, because Mary Hull, who was the forensic accountant, see, my neck is not that wide. It really is not that wide. The forensic accountant who spoke on behalf of the state said in Charlie's trial in 2023, they had $8 million in assets in cash. They don't have that much now. So I think that's why they didn't get a better attorney. I think they couldn't afford a better attorney, and that was that. I think everybody who was better, this was Aqua Ridge. I just have to redact the street. This is Aqua Ridge murder, but I have to redact because you can't put everything out there or you get dinged by YouTube. It's really a nice house. How much does a sell for? Oh, now it's $400,000. This was for rent. Were the movers in Donna's name? That has not been disclosed to us, so I have no idea. Anything that has to do with Wendy's move would be not disclosed to me. It has to be dwindling. So someone asked further up in the chat, would Donna be able to use Charlie's appellate attorney? No, because of conflict. No, she would not. Everything was managed by Donna. Everything was paid for by Donna. Wendy didn't pay for anything. And if you listen to what Georgia's question was, Wendy paid for nothing. She was 51-49 with that stupid ass Linda Bailey. Just such a dumb woman. Just horrible. Talk about Jackie Fulford had more compassion than Linda Bailey. But she was 51-49. He was supposed to pay most of the children's sports, daycare. He was getting ripped on that kind of stuff. And my problem with that, and it's just me, if you're going to divorce someone, you should have to pay. He didn't want a divorce. I'm sure he wanted to pay for his kids. I'm sure he wanted to do that. I don't think that was the issue. But why should I be stuck paying everything when you left? I'm not a fan of that. So, just me. By the time Wendy's jailed, Harvey will be so broke he'll have to live in a banana bread. 51% they said is for the tax write-off, but still, they will often do every other year kind of thing. Like my son and daughter, his former daughter-in-law, they're 51-49 or something like that. But they do every other year. Where's the ring? Where is the ring? You know what I mean? It's just those coming in late, please join the replay crew. It's so worth it. Patty makes me laugh. Well, thank you, Jenny. I'm not as funny as Loophole Lawyer. I will tell you that. That's pretty fucking funny right there. When I wouldn't have, if I knew how to do AI like that, I would not have made the tongues move, but it was funnier having the tongues. Wendy is the next Jackie Onassis. I don't think so. Wendy is not a Jackie Onassis. Do you know who Jackie Onassis is? First of all, she's dead, but she's not a Wendy. You think Wendy may... Oh, Wendy is not going to go without a trial. That would... No. Can you see if they own the Continuum condo? They did not. They didn't own the Continuum condo. I know that. I don't need to check. They were renting in 2014. They still owned their house in Coral Springs. They sold that house in Coral Springs. They rented in the on Alton at the Icon. They rented 2 different units at the Icon, and then they bought their unit in, I think, 19 or 20, something like that. They did not own in the Continuum. Harvey does not still own a hella lot of rentals. He owns a multi-family of 16 units. They call it a 16-plex. And that is what he owns. It's in the trust. Wendy's trial will cost a bundle. Wendy's current defense has cost her a bundle. I mean, she's had John Lauro since July 2014. That's 11 years of a defense attorney. Do I think the Markels will sue? Well, I'm not privy to that conversation, but they haven't yet. So I think they still want to have a relationship with the boys. I think Wendy has a ton of money because she lives off of everyone else. Yeah. But it's still a lease. They leased it prior to. Yes, I did hear that. Dan's estate was mentioned as over $2 million, and he was yet to even take on a case. Yeah, it was $2.7 million in the end, is what the sum total was. I don't think the Markels would sue because it'll affect the boys. I don't either. And Wendy's not gonna, I mean, even if they filed a lawsuit, they would put it off until the judge would put it off until after. The boys not seeing their father's grave is yet another tragedy. Where does Wendy's deep, sustained hatred come from? I think her mother. Make third person think twice about getting married. I think so too. Like, you left me. You can pay. It's the only thing that they still owe. Every other house has been sold. Yeah, they said it's because she had to be a resident, so she didn't have to deal with security. Not buying what she's selling. That's why Wendy moved in with a rich boyfriend so she could afford her attorney. He's not rich. I mean, he might have had his wife insurance, but I don't think he's rich. I think he's just well off and very smart. He's very smart, bookish. He's a moron dating Wendy, a moron. And that has now, like, no line for me. Jorge Estrada is an idiot. And I have no problem saying it out loud. At first, I was like, no, we need to. No, not now. Not after this trial. George, also known as Jorge, is an absolute chump and a moron. And if he keeps betting Wendy, then he deserves everything he gets. Absolutely everything. You don't think she has the ring? I think she got rid of it. No, everybody wants a trophy when they commit a murder. Markel said Wendy has moved estate again, right? Good sign they're keeping track. Well, their daughter, Shelly, would know where they are because she runs the trust. I'm not holding back. He is an idiot. And he needs a dentist. Like, I'm not even thinking about it anymore. I was so like, well, blah. And then you hear this bullshit over the trial and how fucking asinine Wendy is. And I'm like, nope. If George or Jorge wants to keep fucking her, then he deserves whatever the rest of them have gotten. He deserves as much tragedy in his life as Wendy has bestowed on everyone else. He cannot possibly be that stupid. That's a choice. She knew it. She knew she was done, which we haven't watched yet. I don't know how long it is. She knew she was done when she was testifying. She knew she was done. How long is it? It's 3 hours, so I can't do it today. I'm going to have to change the notes. But if I have time tomorrow, I'll come on and we will watch Wendy's testimony. It's 3 hours long. Patty, don't say it like that if I have allergies. What about these kids? They're older, seeing all this from a woman and family of their dad is with. They're adults. One is in Colorado. So the daughter of Jorge goes to school at the University of Colorado. That's where Colorado comes into play. Wendy does not live in Colorado. She has an address in Colorado. She doesn't live there. The address is a UPS box. Hold on. My daughter sent me a TikTok. Oh my. My daughter sent me a TikTok about the trial. Yeah. So that whole, let me tell you, let me give you an idea. See if I can share it without getting dinged by, I have a background app because I look up people before I meet strangers online, right? It's 13, 12, 17th. Okay. So think Denver, think 13, 12, 17th, and I'll show you what the address is. It's Postnet. It's not even UPS, it's Postnet. This is it. Tell me again that she lives there. It's a post office box. That's it. She doesn't live this. She doesn't live in this building. She's not living here. It's Postnet. Wendy was not being a smartass this time. She knows she's likely under the gun. She also appeared to be on some kind of mood soothing. She was trying to be helpful on the stand. Wendy's had a lot of coaching. She's a harpy. Yeah, near the 17th Street Mall. It's a box. You guys, the name of the background app I use is called Forewarn. I get it free because I'm a real estate agent, but it's Forewarn, F-O-R-E, Warn. It's not a P.O. box. It's an actual street number. Yeah, she won't be able to take George's hand with her to jail. Did someone say that Charlie did an interview that he was asked about his mother's conviction? I think someone said it. I saw on a TikTok online saying you were Harvey's friend or supporter. Oh, well, that's because I was sitting behind him. That's the only reason. I had to sit where I could get a seat. Crap, actually forget it has a watermark. Wendy is a red flag. Wendy is the blog. Wendy has that crabby biatch on the stand, very toned down. I would love to know what she was saying to Donna. She was not nearly as cocky. Blogs have more fun. Every boyfriend for Wendy was to have someone in place to take care of the boys, not because she loves them. This is to keep kids from the Markels. Someone mentioned a jail video with Charlie. I forgot where they said it. Let's see. I'm just going to search real quick before I go. Charlie Adelson reaction to verdict. Oh, no, that's his own. This is a year ago. It was him. It was his reaction to his own verdict, not his mother's. So I think Wendy is gay. I've thought about her being bi for sure. I think she's bi. Her relationship with those women is very odd. It was when he was here in Florida. Allegedly, Charlie flipped out, caused trouble, yelled racist stuff at jail stuff, and hurt his toe. Remember Jeff talked about her getting into sex stuff in different relationships? Yeah, I believe it. More to Honeycutt. Yeah, no one's screwing her with, like, I wouldn't screw her with Murder by Maestro's dick. That's for sure. Show the Wendy Honeycutt kiss again. Let me see if I have it. Oh, here it is. So funny. That was from Leslie B. Leslie B did that. Does Wendy Honeycutt? Wait, I miss it. Someone please clip that. I'm too busy swooning. I'll send it to you, Murder. I'll send it to you. Wendy is number 5. You don't know what's real or not. Well, that's clearly not real. Those two women are far more attractive than Honeycutt and Wendy. Look at this. Far more attractive. Wendy is definitely watching channels. A 3-point turn in the vertical lines give it away. No, it's not real. It's not real. It's AI. I was typing that out. Ain't no way she's leaving that ass alone. That's how she controls. Women ain't playing her damn game. I have no context and I hate it. Susan has Charlie jail write-up calling people's names about his toe. Gag, I know. Does Wendy Honeycutt attend the lesbian picnic? Likely. Daniel Sack was polyamorous and was telling Wendy to be so too. Nice. Thank you, true crime, wifey. Charlie's being rude in jail. The nurse hit his toe with the door. Whatever. Good for her. The tongues were funny on Loophole. Luckily, Leslie didn't have tongues here. True Crime Wifey does it hilarious, Wendy. I'm going to send this to you, my love. Murder. I'm sending this to you. All right, people. I got to go. Sorry, I got to change the show notes because we didn't talk about Wendy and we didn't rewatch it. The tongues were funny. I mean, that was funny set. You're 14 minutes away from 3 hours and it doesn't even feel like it. But who really wants to listen to me for 3 hours? I mean, it's a lot. Patty, did you ever tell us what happened with the crazy person at the verdict? No, I didn't. But you can go to the community. Oh, that's what I was going to show you. Let me show you that. Sometimes this is the channel, right? You go on YouTube. Hi. Let's see. So you go to, just put in my own. Let's go to Surviving Tallahassee Democrat right here. They don't have it. My bad. Let's see. Do Surviving the Survivor. So here you go. So I posted it. I made a statement and posted it. What happened at the courthouse? You just click on posts on the channel and it'll take you to that comment. But I'm not doing a video about it. She's not worth a minute more of my time. So thank you all so much for enjoying. I hope you had a good time. Thank you, Rosemary, for always being informative and entertaining. Thank you. Rosemary, and thank you for asking great questions, because you do ask great questions, but I still don't believe the woman did anything wrong. I appreciate it. Jenny, thanks for your 3 months. I appreciate you so much. My Father's Alibi, thank you. That's Allison Galvani with her mother, which I'm going to concentrate more on now because I have time. Mr. C, thank you so much. Very sweet of you. Junebug is a member for 9 months. Christine Hale is a new member. Thank you. Dana is a member for 8 months. They're just stacking up in here. You know, My Father's Alibi, the other night she gifted 50. Thank you so much, Mr. C, with the super sticker. I appreciate it. And then Mark, thank you so much. It's an honor to be able to talk to this very hot webcam, and just know my neck is not that big. It's just not. It's just the camera. Take care, everyone. Happy Sunday. Bye-bye.